Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you are not new to my channel, then you know that this is a completely different setup than what I typically do my videos. But I wanted to do or start a new series called Kyla's Kitchen. I know that's very cheesy, but with this series I envision me like cooking recipes that are yummy and clean and good for you, while like doing like a girl talk and like answering questions or giving advice on specific topics, doing reviews, all of that stuff. So if you like that, let me know. But I wanted to kick off this series by doing a review on the one thing that is most important in your kitchen, which is pots and pans. And this is the pots and pans that I've been using for about 3 or 4 months now. And so many of you have been asking me for my thoughts and opinions on Caraway pots and pans, and I never wanted to give my full review on it because I wanted to just take a little bit more time to use them to see how I like it. And so it's been 3 or 4 months now, and I feel like this is the perfect time for me to talk about my full review and my thoughts and opinions on it. So that's what we're going to do in today's video, and they are sponsoring today's video. And I know people soy away from videos like this where it's sponsored because you feel like it's not raw or authentic, but this is a huge full circle moment for me because, long story short, before we even moved into this house, while this house was being built and we were living with my parents while it was being built, I was looking at new pots and pans for our new house because my old pots and pans, which I will explain later on in the video, was not the best. Let's just say that. They were very old and toxic, and they were not pretty, to be completely honest. But I saw Caraway on Instagram and how aesthetically pleasing and beautiful their pots and pans are, but most importantly, how they are non-toxic. And so my mom already heard of Caraway, and she also told me about how she's heard amazing things about it. And I remember my mom and I were like, oh my gosh, we would love Caraway pots and pans, but I didn't buy it yet because we were still living with them and we didn't have storage. All of our other stuff was in storage, and I wanted to wait until we moved into this home. And so I just remember sitting at the table with my mom, and I remember saying, wow, it would be a dream to work with Caraway. And this is back when I was much smaller on YouTube. So those are very, very big dreams of mine. But long story short, it's a full circle moment to be able to work with Caraway. And I want to thank Caraway for working with me. I'm truly so honored. Thank you so much. So first, let's talk about what is Caraway? Who are they? What do they provide? So Caraway is a non-toxic cookware brand. And what I feel like they're really known for, again, is their beautiful, aesthetically pleasing pots and pans. That is the one thing that caught my eye when I first heard of them, is their beautiful display of pots and pans because they have so many different colors. I specifically chose the color Sage because if you couldn't tell already, my whole house is very white and bright and neutral. Really the only color that I have around my house is plants or like pictures upstairs, but that's literally the only color that I have in my house. So I felt like this color would complement my plants very well and just add a little bit more vibrancy, I guess you can say, in my home. So this is the color Sage, and they actually just released bakeware in this color, which I need to order ASAP. So now let's talk about the non-toxic part. So if you are not educated on non-toxic and toxic cookware, I definitely recommend just taking some time out of your day to educate yourself on toxic cookware because it can be very harmful to our bodies. So going back to my old pans, like I said, I actually had Teflon pans. And you've seen it. If you've been around my channel for a while, you've seen it in my What I Eat in Day videos while I'm cooking. And they were just like the black Teflon pans. And while they were good for a while, I was just not educated on how toxic Teflon pans are. So they are very toxic, especially when they are scratched from cooking using your utensils and everything, because once they're scratched, those chemicals within the pan then leaks into your food, and then you obviously eat your food and then it goes into your body. And I'll have some B-roll clips of my old pans up on the screen right now, but they were very scratched, and I couldn't imagine all the harmful chemicals that went into my husband and I's body. So I definitely regret that, but I also recommend just researching on it. But I do want to quickly read something that I saw about Teflon pans, not so much to scare you guys, but just so that I can encourage you to just educate yourself on toxic cookware. So Teflon is a material and it is 95% of nonstick pans. However, when exposed to high heat that exceeds 500 degrees, in 2.5 minutes, just 2.5 minutes, it then begins to release chemicals. So imagine when it's already scratched. Yeah. And then those chemicals, which they call forever chemicals, takes decades or even longer to leave the body, and they never break down in the environment. And this was research done by the EWG, which is Environmental Working Group. So if that doesn't say how toxic they are very, very toxic. So that's what I had for years when my husband and I first got married. Then I switched to Caraway. Caraway is non-toxic. They have a ceramic, non-stick, non-toxic coating, if you guys can see. So now let's talk about the non-stick part. So because it has a ceramic coating, you do not need barely any oil or butter when cooking. I've cooked so many different meals with all my pots and pans, and the only time I will use an oil or butter, it's only when the recipe calls for it. I don't use it for cooking to make sure like it's easier to clean afterwards or to get the food off or anything. That is the only time I will use oil or butter, is if the recipe calls for it. Another huge thing about Caraway is that they are eco-friendly. So what they have on their website is that it releases up to 60% less CO2 when produced compared to traditional nonstick coating. And then another thing that they make sure they do to remain eco-friendly is that their packaging is recycled cardboard. And I'll get into the packaging in a second, but let's continue talking about how eco-friendly they are. But their packaging is recycled cardboard with 0 plastic bags, low impact print dyes, and biodegradable cork trivets. So that's something that you also receive in your set, which I will talk about. But the packaging, y'all, that was the best packaging that I've seen ever, because first off, it was huge, but it was so like beautifully delivered. It had Caraway all over it, but when you open it, everything had its place. So you don't have to worry about it like getting ruined during shipping, because it was packed so well and so sturdy, I guess you can say, so that it didn't move throughout shipping. Okay, so now let's talk about what you receive when you order your first cookware set. So let's first talk about the storage. So you actually do get storage with your cookware set, which is, again, so convenient. So you receive 4 magnetic pan racks that will hold each of your pot and pan that you receive in your set, and you receive a canvas lid holder. So like I said, you receive 2 cork trivets, which are very convenient so that you don't have to put the hot pan on your countertop. And then you receive this pamphlet, which is going to be your best friend. So it is a little bit small, so make sure you don't accidentally throw this away. But this is going to be your best friend because it tells you exactly what you need to know. So it tells you obviously what comes in your set. It tells you what to do before, during, and after cooking to take care of it, to maintain it, and to clean it. So definitely hold on to this. So that is what you receive besides the pots and pans. So now let's talk about the pots and pans that you receive. So the first one that we're going to talk about is this 3 cork saucepan. So this is going to be perfect for making sauces, obviously, little soups, mac and cheese. And then this next one is a 10.5-inch fry pan. So this is going to be perfect if you're making eggs, wanting to flip pancakes. I've used this for turkey bacon in the morning, even sauteing veggies. So this is a perfect like happy medium pan. And then the next one is my most used one, and this is a 4.5 quart saute pan. And this one is the biggest pan that you receive. So I do cook for both my husband and I. I like to cook a lot so that we have extra for lunch the next day. and this holds a lot of food that I make in this. So this is definitely our most used one. And then the next one is a 6.5 quart Dutch oven. So this is going to be perfect for boiling pasta, making stews, making chili, which I made all of that in this bad boy right here. So that is everything that you receive in your cookware set. But yeah, now let's talk about my experience with cooking and cleaning with Caraway pots and pans. So I know I already said it, little spoiler alert, but I have been absolutely loving cooking with my Caraway pots and pans. Actually, I should have had my husband come on here. He would have really sold this for you guys, but he is obsessed. I think just a little bit more obsessed with Caraway pots and pans than I am, because the first time he used this one, he was making teriyaki turkey burgers. And obviously, if you ever cooked with teriyaki sauce, when it exposed to heat, it can make it can harden. And whenever we used to do that with our old pans, we would have to soak the pan with soap and hot water overnight just to get the sauce out, and then clean it the next day and then put it in the dishwasher, which don't do. But with this one, after he was cooking the teriyaki turkey burgers, when he went to clean it, he literally took the soft part of the sponge and wiped it, and it came off like that. Like, he literally didn't even spend a minute cleaning this pan. And I remember I was sitting there at the dining room table, and I looked over at him, and he was literally shook. He was like, "This is my favorite pot and pan ever. Never get rid of it. We need more." And I was like, I told you, it's worth the investment. But yeah, if that says anything, that a man loves cleaning pots and pans because of Caraway, that is saying something. Like I said, I've cooked so many different meals, and my food always tastes amazing. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that it heats up really, really quick, which is very convenient if I'm in a rush and I need to make eggs and I need to run out the door. But one thing that I really want to emphasize on is the cleaning part, because that is very, very important for so many reasons. So obviously, because it is nonstick and it is ceramic coating, you want to be very gentle when cleaning it. So you definitely do not want to put this in the dishwasher. And I know people, when they hear that, they get swayed from that because you think it takes longer to clean, but I promise you, because of the ceramic coating, it takes way less time to clean it. And they actually have it in this pamphlet, some tips and tricks to just maintain the integrity of the ceramic coating. So little things like, you don't want to cook on high extreme heat. So with all of my meals, I cook it on low to medium heat. Medium is what I typically use, but the only time that I will use extremely high heat is when I am boiling pasta. Obviously, you need high heat to boil, but other than that, that is the only time I use high heat, and I use low to medium heat. That just will help prevent the wearing of the ceramic coating so it can last longer. And another thing is, when cooking, you don't want to use harsh metal utensils. So for example, when I'm cooking turkey bacon, I'm not using this, because this will definitely scratch the coating, and when you scratch it, it just wears and tears that coating, so it won't last as long. So obviously, I don't know if you guys can see, I use all wooden utensils, and again, going back to non-toxic cookware, I definitely recommend wooden utensils because they're just cleaner and not as toxic as other ones. But I do have some with a softer end. I don't know if you can see it, so that it doesn't scratch that coating. And even when I do use a wooden one, I'm not doing that, which again, you don't need to do because of that nonstick coating. I hope you guys could have seen me the whole time. And then now let's talk about the cleaning part. So when you're cleaning, again, don't put it in the dishwasher, but you want to use a very soft sponge. So this is the sponge that I use. It probably is going to drip all over the place because I just did dishes, but this is the sponge that I use, and it has a soft part and a rough abrasive part. So I do not use this part at all because it can do little micro tears on the coating, which again won't help make it last long. So I will use the soft part, and it literally just wipes off really fast. The only wear and tear that I would have to say with my pots and pans are the bottoms of it. I don't know if you can see, but this is normal due to the heat. So obviously this isn't going to be shown, so it doesn't really matter if like people see it, but this is the only wear and tear. But again, like I said, and I really want to stress, if you take care of it and you do the necessary steps, I promise you it will last long. It is a labor of love, but I promise you it's going to be worth it, especially because it is an investment. One thing that I do want to mention, I guess you could say, is a con of these pots and pans are the handles. Some of the handles, not all of them, they do get hot. I've learned the hard way, let's just say that. So be very mindful. I think it's mainly this one. So when I'm like boiling pasta, I can't grab it like this with my bare hands. I do have to use like a little thingy. My mind is literally going blank today. I don't know why. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, it makes sense. So I don't know if you guys can see, but on every handle, it has a little divot right here. I'll have a better clip up on the screen, but it actually has a divot, and maybe that's where you're only supposed to put your hand and not go past that divot, and that's that makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, I feel so stupid right now. I think that's why you're not supposed to put your hand past that little bump or divot. So yeah, never mind, I take that back. I think that's why I burnt my hand, is that I literally was holding it almost against the rim. So I take that back. So I think I covered everything in today's video. If I did not cover anything that you're wondering, or if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to comment down below or just message me on Instagram at Kyla Beeland, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. They did provide me a discount link for you guys. It is, I was about to say the whole link. I can't say the whole link. It's going to be linked down below in the description box. So make sure you guys go check that out so that you can save some money on your first beautiful set. That concludes the first episode of Kyla's Kitchen. The next one of Kyla's Kitchen, I want it to be where I'm cooking a fun recipe and we can have like a girl talk. So comment down below any topics you want to know from me or give advice on any topics, and we can do that. I'm very excited for this series. I don't know if it's going to be good. It could literally be a flop. Some people might hate it. I don't know. But let me know. But I really envision where it's like you're in my house, in my kitchen, sitting across the counter from me, and I'm just cooking you a meal, and we're just having a girl talk, just being best friends. So that's what I envision for this series. Okay, I have 7 seconds. My camera's about to die. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.